First, we'd like to invite the delegates of the SpaceX corporations, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Our side advocates for SpaceX satellite network. So we would like to invite the other side to propose their points and their proposal.
Do the same thing.
Previously, we had stated before that the NAS would first want to listen to what SpaceX is currently desiring for the current coverage of satellites, as well as the problems that they're currently facing when coming in contact with the national airspace sovereignty. Please.
So firstly, without further ado, let's get straight to the point. I like to say that space is ours, not yours. So if you were to monopolize space, if one company would to control the entirety of space and global internet access, how would you avoid the issues of, for example, data breaches, data insecurities, or something like politicizing internet access for countries who are opposing the US?
That's why we would like to propose a percentage. Therefore, our proposal is that we have full control for 55%, and we could propose you 45%. What would you say?
How do those numbers make sense?
Because we can still have controls over the space securities, whilst we can still fund on others major problems that having right now, which is more urgent than the space things. And we can solve our problems of national problems, while we can let the billionaires like Elon Musk solve the problem on space funding for those. Then we still have the securities on those things that is not fully belong to the billionaires. We still provide securities, and we don't need to overfund on it because it don't have any actual impact or like positive impact immediately right now.
What are the national problems that you're currently stating that you are hoping to have a private entity to control, to solve over?
Like hunger and poverty in countries in the US as well.
Now, from this, I would like to ask the delegates of SpaceX a few questions. First, is that how does a company that is currently relying on private space transport and communications to be able to solve such problems? Like, how does it correlate with communications and satellite imagery?
We're not saying that the SpaceX will solve this problem. We said that the government should prioritize to solve that problems, while the SpaceX was fund for those things, for the space.
And what difference does SpaceX have to corporations from other countries, or even corporations from the US itself, like NASA or this or that? Does it have to exactly be SpaceX? Otherwise, your point proposing is just naming it down to being a space corporation, not necessarily SpaceX.
Now, you need to remember that SpaceX is controlled by many billionaires that have the full power, full control, and enough resources to fund the SpaceX satellites. And we should save the government's money, like you're suggesting for NASA, to save all of the problems that we are currently solving on the ground right now, like hunger, poverty, climate change, so on. We should focus on our planet and not for space reasons like that.
Then how would global internet access be able, like from SpaceX, be able to solve these problems in other national countries? It's not just in America, of course, it's beyond just America, is going to other continents, other countries. So how would SpaceX provide something so significant that's able to solve it?
We're not saying that the SpaceX will solve this problem. We're saying that the SpaceX was funds for space exploitations, and while the NASA also have a part of this as some percentage on that can provide securities for the US. However, because of NASA, they use government's budget, and the current problems that happen right now is how the hunger and poverty is more urgency to solve. While the SpaceX is made by billionaire, and they can use that funds that they want and do the things that they want to explore the space.
Now, of course, you are some people working at SpaceX, yet you're not representing those billionaires. If they get the money, you cannot ensure that they will spend it on right issues. So how would you justify that? Because you're just representing a part of SpaceX, not the CEOs, not the shareholders who are actually having and taking in that money. So what influence do you have on those people to make them guarantee that with those money that they earn from global internet access, that they're going to spend it on the right issues?
But the problem is not the profits where it's going to right now, because currently you cannot see like immediate profits from these space exploitations, right? But the most important problem is the funding into those projects. It costs a lot of money, and the NASA is using nationals' budgets, while the SpaceX, when already said it, is funded by the billionaires. And this is does not use the budget and effect to about the fundings to stop current problems like hungers and poverty right now in the U.S.
All right, so we're at 5 minutes. You gotta reach an agreement now.
Okay, let's cut to the point. So, we would like to make a proposal, like last time, for us, for SpaceX, to get a higher percentage, which is 55%. That is our best offer right now for our investments of space satellite. How would
We would like to extend the offer by having SpaceX to reduce this number to 50% to 45%, as well as to use the same launch platform, the SLS platform that is currently being developed by NASA itself to launch the satellite, so that the state government has the ability to control where does these satellites being positioned in low Earth orbit in order to achieve their best ability of purely for internet access instead of doing other unstated.
Furthermore, we would also like to have SpaceX cooperate with the countries and completely sharing the data and how their machines are operating in those countries. With transparency, we need to provide transparency for all the countries that they're operating in.
then we would like to ask you, does NASA share all of their data to the public?
No, because they're not operating in so many different regions that SpaceX is trying to operate in. And not only NASA, of course.
They will agree to share the information, but the controls and percentage of the SpaceX should be more, because they already fund for all of those things, while nationals just like get the securities of it to ensure the securities for the nations. But the space they fund for all of these things. Why would they have a lower percentage than the NASA?
It's not SpaceX against NASA, it's SpaceX against the right and freedoms of everybody in the world and how they could control their data. So if you lend it into the hands of Elon Musk or whoever is controlling SpaceX, we will not agree for such a high percentage.
If we agree to share the information, you must lend us the more percentage, or more than half the percentage, because we are agreeing to share all of that data, while you guys don't have any proposal or any agreement to share those data online.
Not online is something that the government could control. The rights for SpaceX to do whatever in their country lends it to the government of their country. It's not a matter of how much SpaceX could monopolize in this market. You need to allow for those countries for them to have the rights to develop their own technology as well. So not only is it 55% SpaceX, it needs to lend it to other corporations within the country to operate within themselves.
Now, can I ask you, who is the richest person on Earth right now?
Who would know? The Jews? That's not a joke. Why are you laughing?
So, you know that SpaceX is controlled by all of these billionaires, while other countries are suffering with their own problems right now, and they cannot focus on these space satellite problems. How do you expect them to focus on all these space while they have their own problems?
Yeah,
Well-
and also like developing countries. Do they prioritize or like doing these space exploitations? No, it's just the nationals like the US.
Therefore, we should leave it in the hands of the billionaires like Elon Musk, who are fully capable of controlling all these SpaceX satellites. And we are already lending you 45% of this the SpaceX investments, and you should allow our advocates or our company to have more than half the percentage of that.
Yeah, we already ensured you security, and like this is our funding, and we should have the controls over it. And you already ensure the securities on your side.
Okay, so that is quite a hefty offer, and sadly, because we are a national organization, we could not share as much of our shares to a private entity as such. So now we would like to propose another offer. With SpaceX still having 55% of the total satellites are currently on low Earth orbit for information gathering and satellite imagery, we would like to include NASA specialists, government specialists, such as those in Langley Space Centers or Kennedy Space Center, to have the ability to also cooperate with these informations so that we can have the ability to share the technology. We can cooperate between. SpaceX will still have the ability to control most of their satellites, but in exchange, they should also share the operational data as well as the rights to operate these machinery for the better good of humanity to government corporations as well.
As supported by our billionaires and more than enough resources, we would like to buy all of the NASA or national things because we have more than enough resources and we are capable of organizing all of this data.
To put in simpler words, you're saying let's buy all the other companies and have SpaceX as the only monopoly in the market, so you could control everything.
Including the
We're
Department of
not
Aeronautics.
controlling everything. We're giving you 45%.
Remember, we are giving you 45%. But if you would like, so that your company or your national government has enough money to deal with all of the problems like now, like climate change or all of the poverty, so on, to let us, SpaceX, which has more than enough resources.
All right, guys, you're fighting over. You got 55% and 45%. You got to make a deal, and then also the data. The
47.5.
Just go 50-50.
47.5.
47.5 on the table.
48%.
48%.
Okay, deal.
55 to 48.
And what about the data sharing?
Data sharing. Not only data sharing, I would like to have the profits also transferred directly to the country rather than just the billionaires having it. So it's more transparent,
See,
less corruption.
we have all of the support from the billionaires. They are allowed to get that profit because
I
they
don't
are
care
investing
about the
money.
billionaires if you have.
Because we literally fund for it.
Okay.
We are funding for it. You must remember that.
Okay, first of all, we would like to clarify that these informations that we are currently using from you are used for the better, or are used to improve the lives of the citizens involved. It is not just for the profit that is being achieved by either the NAS, either NASA, or either Elon Musk himself.
Now, I know that, of course, you would like to maximize utility, whatever, if that's possible. But again, space is ours. Space is not yours. As far as even I would like to agree with you that it would be better for SpaceX to have total control. It's more efficient, right? But as the national aerospace sovereignty, we cannot allow that.
It is in our name, SpaceX, that we should have most of the control of space. And
You
we're
also have
running-
X in your name, which is brain dead.
Okay, guys. All right. So you've agreed on 48% data
No,
sharing.
47.25%.
No, you already said 48.
Final offer.
Okay, 48% for their company and 55% for 52% for our
We're not a company.
advocates. Yeah, for the
Okay.
government.
Just for final summary, it would be a 40% share of 40% share of operational status to the NAS, as well as the remaining 52% for SpaceX, as well as the availability to share the operational rights as well as the data for both SpaceX and NAS.
We will share some operational data since some of the information is also needed for us to keep private. But
50-50.
remember that we are controlling space right now since we have the 52% and you guys have the 48%. Therefore, you should lend us. No, you guys have.
All right, guys, get back on target. Let's go. We
Here,
got
so-
Final proposal.
one more minute, guys.
Final proposal. 48% for you and 52% for our company. Therefore, inviting you to cooperate with us for all of this, all of the investments right now and all the discoveries, and also the enough utility and enough resources for all of the citizens in your national rights to solve all the immediate problems right now, like climate change, poverty, and so on.
And at the same time, we will also start with the same profit sharing with the numbers you have mentioned before.
No, we're not going to share you profit because we fund for it and we need the profit to do this.
That is why we like to split it into percentages.
split it
75% for the countries, directly transferred to the country. Shush.
Let's
Shush.
put it into percentage. 75% for us and the remaining for you. Enough.
How does that work?
For the
Guys,
profit.
please stop fighting. We have to finish
30
it.
seconds, guys.
Yeah, 30 seconds to
Final deal.
nail it down.
Final
50-50 in
52% for our
50-50
company for
in
investments. 48%
operational
for yours. And
Let's finish this first. So
let's do 65% for profits for us and 35% profit for your guys.
60% profit for SpaceX and 40% profit for NASA.
Yeah, deal. No, they already agreed. We have more than half. Okay, Deal. Done.
All right, guys. All right, good job. The debate went a little bit off topic. Loss of communication. You guys were talking about food and poverty. So these guys stuck to the closest of the debate, even though you kind of gave up a percentage and you guys kept changing the rules.
We got the more
So-
than
We have,
percentage.
I know, but as a negotiation, you won, but these guys were able to stay on target a little bit more.
No, this is about negotiation.
I know, but these guys were able to stay on target with the topic, and yeah.
negotiate. They refuse to hear.
Yeah, you had to make a deal, and you kept changing the numbers once you've agreed on something. So I'm gonna have to give it to these guys.
Oh man.
Good job.
You want our money?
Whoa,
You
whoa,
want
whoa, whoa,
our
whoa.
money?
What?
sorry?
Yeah. So now you have to make the agreement, guys.
Final agreement. We're totally not gonna
Sign it.
Where do we write it?
I think you agreed on 60-40.
Yeah. And then for the 52%,
Sharing
48%.
Write it down and then shake hands. Yeah. Good job, guys.
Guys, next time please stay on target. Thank you.
How about you get better negotiation?
How about you stop?
All right, guys. Let's stop this Mac talking. We have another one to do here.
Sharing.
Yes?
5:45.
No changing. No changing.
52 in
No changing.
operation data.
Mm-hmm. And at the same time, like partial operational and data sharing but between the NAS and SpaceX.
Data control. So the 50-50 data control.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
And
Data.
data control and operational control.
No changing secretly. That is off target.
We are not changing stuff.
We don't care. Okay, guys.
Okay,
shake hands.
let's sign this. Thank you.
Professional as we are.
Stand up. Shake hands.
I will sign. It's good that the parents don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Ray, Mr. Man, sorry, ever Mr. That father.
Shake hands, guys. Fuck it out.
Peaceful.
Is that needed?
Shake hands, sir.
Is that needed? No,
Shake hands.
Shake hands.
Guys,
Shake hands.
Come on,
Okay,
guys.
okay.
Announce first. Announce the
Just a bit of arrangement. Yeah. Read it for.
and the beat.
Wait.
And then, okay, bye.
So finally, after the rounds of negotiations and debate, both sides have came to an agreement that we would have a 48% and 53% operational data split between the NAS and SpaceX respectively. Same thing for the 60% and 40% profit sharing with SpaceX and the NAS, as well as a half and half data control, as well as operational control for satellites, mainly for communications and intelligence. Thank you.
yeah.
Are they going?